Hello, everyone. Welcome to Outside Food and Drink. I'm Jean.
I'm Victoria.
Today, part 2 of our discussion of the Apocalypse trilogy, 1987's Prince of Darkness. Scientists from every discipline in the world apparently gathered in an old church to smoke and stumble their way through the beginning of the end of creation while Alice Cooper and his touring band glare. I remember, I was very, very little, but my older brother was very into Alice Cooper. And my older brother was also very into like Black Sabbath and stuff too. So Alice Cooper had this aura around him.
Yeah.
And he's appearing on the Muppet Show. It was like the devil himself might have showed up on the. It was so weird.
I mean, that's great. Did he make a Muppety song?
He did know that he sang "Welcome to My Nightmare." It was really amazing.
Wow,
I'll
that's
never
crazy.
Forget. Yeah, I will. I mean,
that's like putting Alice Cooper on Sesame Street or something.
It is exactly like that. Yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah,
I should look that up.
You should look it up. It was. I remember I was sitting at the kitchen table eating mashed potatoes and roast beef and gravy while we were watching, because my brother wanted to watch it too because he liked Alice Cooper. And I was like, I watched the Muppet Show because, back then you had to watch the show while it was on.
Yeah.
And we were not a TV during dinner family, but I got a special dispensation because of the Muppet Show. And so I was watching the Muppet Show, and then Alice Cooper was going to be on. So my brother was like, watch, Alice Cooper is going to be on. And he was just like, okay. He had never seen the Muppet Show before. He was a teenager. He didn't care about the Muppet Show.
Was this the oldest or the youngest brother?
The youngest brother.
Okay.
I mean, I guess he knew it was going to be a kid's show, but not quite this way.
Yeah. So he was astounded by the Muppets, but happy for Alice Cooper.
Cooper's there. And I'm trying to think, analogous to this would be like when I was a teenager, if Glenn Danzig appeared on Barney or something. I'd be like, why is this happening?
Yeah. Well, next time we see him, we'll have to ask him if he remembers that.
But what happened? Alice Cooper was on set. He just kind of wanted to watch.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter's actually like, I got something for you, Mr. Cooper. So there's a band of incredibly creepy homeless people throughout the movie, and Alice Cooper is their leader, of course.
Of course.
Why wouldn't he be? This is one of my favorite endings to a movie ever. This is one of my favorite dream sequences in a movie ever, even though it's not technically a dream. So let's talk about this movie. Again, we're gonna talk about bigger things in the movie, but let's talk about the movie itself first. The first several minutes we're meeting all these different people. We have a priest in a bed.
Yes.
Holding a little box. We keep getting shots of ants in weird places.
Yeah, and I don't think they ever really came to explain.
They do explain it, but they don't. So what they don't do is they don't have anybody say, that's what the ants are there for. They tell you why the ants are there without saying, and this is why the ants are there.
Okay.
So we have this priest. We have ants everywhere. We have Jameson Parker taking full advantage of the style of the time with his little porn star mustache and his pecs. And so Jameson Parker is a theoretical physicist, not unlike Sheldon Cooper. So he's trolling around campus with a briefcase that has never had a single piece of paper in it. He's following around as Catherine Danforth, played by Lisa Blount, who is a experimental physicist, not unlike Leonard Hofstadter. They're walking around this campus. You have the professor, Victor Wong, who's playing Professor Howard Barak, who's going to be very important. Donald Pleasance is a priest.
That blew me away.
Donald Pleasance is... he's great in this, but he just doesn't have a name. He's just the priest.
Yeah.
So they just call him Father. When they talk to him, they're like, Father. Okay. So we get this priest, this dying priest. We get these theoretical physicists going around campus. We have ants everywhere. We have what may appear to be a lunar eclipse on the way. We have this old church. It's all going to come together in a few minutes, but we're just kind of going around and getting bits and pieces at this point.
The old church is kind of creepy, though.
Yeah. The old church is very creepy, especially once you get into the basement.
Yes. It's just the way it looks from the outside, too, makes you think, they abandoned this for a reason.
Well, St. Goddard's is the name of the church. One of the scientists that comes to do research here, we find out that her I think he said her boyfriend or her husband's family
Her husband. Yeah, I think it's her husband's family.
had come there when he was younger, and then they just stopped.
Yeah.
There's some funny things here. So we found out this church was built in the 1500s.
And the priest that died lived there, I believe.
Yeah, at one point, they discover there's various tomes and things, and they discover this one book, and it's like in Latin.
Yes.
And they make a point of saying it's in Latin. I'm like, a book in Latin in a Catholic church?
No,
What? What in the world?
Yeah.
What is going on? But anyway, so this priest dies. He had this little box on his chest. He was holding this little box. He died peacefully. He didn't die, but he just had this little box on his chest when he died.
Yes.
And Donald Pleasance, he's been reading this guy's journals, and he says a lot of very upsetting and dark sounding things. We start getting information about the Brotherhood of Sleep, and he says, like, I have witnessed things. I'm like, what do you mean you have witnessed things?
Yeah.
What have you witnessed, sir? Get a little more specific. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, we'll get into it. So Donald Pleasance discovers this key. So he gets down to the basement with this key, and there he finds this giant, like, I guess it's a cylinder. It's a tube. It's a big glass tube. It's huge. It's, 10 feet tall, whatever. And it's full of this glowing green liquid.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is going to be bad. So Howard Birack, the professor, played by Victor Wong, we're going to get into why I like this. But he's giving a lecture to some of his students about how our notions of classical reality collapse on the subatomic quantum level, which the interplay between the fact, I can't stand that they didn't give him a name. The interplay between the church stuff and the science stuff is, I think they probably would have been a little more sophisticated later on. But for this period of time, for this point in movie, the way movies approach this stuff, I liked it. It was a good kind of mushing these things together. Okay, Parker Jameson's character's name is Brian. He is stalking Catherine all over campus.
Yes. Every time you see her, you see him.
It's really weird.
It is really. I felt like, I was like, this is how they stalk in the late 70s, early 80s, I guess.
This is the late 80s by this point.
Yeah, I know, but it was very stalkery.
It was very stalkery. I feel like it is, though. The relationship between those two, I feel like they had to kind of make it kind of happen quick because they wanted it to be happening when they went into, which maybe you should just have them start off with the relationship had already blossomed, because otherwise it feels like really rushed, and it feels almost like you just kind of
bum rushed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Nuns begin to appear on campus.
Yeah.
This upsets and or confuses both Brian and his buddy Walter, who is very funny. He's the comic relief.
Yeah, he really is. He's pretty hilarious most of the time.
Like, literally nobody else appreciates him but the viewer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Brian's at home. We're getting like little slices of life. Brian's at home watching something. He's a physicist, mind you. He's a theoretical physicist. And there's this news broadcast about a supernova. I think they wanted us to think that the supernova has something to do with the things that were going to happen in the movie. But there's ants. Again, we're getting more ants. Got ants in the TV set that he doesn't see.
Yeah.
There's just fucking ants everywhere.
Yeah.
Another point later in a few scenes, there starts to be like worms everywhere.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. There's bugs, ants, and then worms, and then I guess cockroaches or beetles or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Father Donald reaches out to Professor Birack, and he's trying to explain the whole brotherhood thing, the Brotherhood of Sleep. And they've been keeping the secret of this green tube of liquid in their basement since the 1500s.
Yeah.
And he's like, so, okay, here's the deal. We couldn't tell anybody for hundreds of years, but now we have to tell people because they have to understand what's coming.
Yeah, how we need to know when it's coming.
We need to know. So we need you to help us figure it out, because you're starting to see the effects everywhere and we can't hide it anymore. So people are just going to be like, what's going on? And we know, but we have to be able to explain it in a way that makes sense.
Yes.
So that's part of like the ants and the sun being weird and all that. That's kind of all this stuff that's starting to not look right to normal people. I don't think anybody's noticed the ants yet until we do get a scene where a homeless woman has ants crawling all over her.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird, but otherwise, nobody's really noticed the ants, but they have noticed the sun and the moon being weird.
Yes, they have. Multiple people have.
Yeah. And like the moon shouldn't be looking the way it does with the sun where it is, and they're too close in the middle of the day. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, and the lady with the ants on her face, crawling all over her face, is actually looking up at it too.
Yeah. Okay, Birak, what he decides is he's going to get his students together. They're going to go into this church and they're going to investigate at the priest's request.
And if you're not passing, you might pass with this.
Yes, it's going to be extra credit. Right. This is funny. We have a scene here. I talk about Walter being the comic relief. None of these people are just fresh out of high school.
No.
They're all postgraduate or graduates doing graduate work in physics.
Yes.
Walter, in particular, is going into theoretical physics. Okay. But he's working on his PhD. And he and Catherine, who is the experimental physicist, they're discussing Schrodinger's cat. Right? And she's explaining Schrodinger's cat to him. And he's like, it doesn't make any sense. And she's like, that's the point. It doesn't make any sense. And they're going back and forth about it. And he is acting like he has somehow gotten to the point in his academic career of getting a PhD in theoretical physics. And he's acting here like he has never heard of Schrodinger's cat. I went to college. I did not take physics. I majored in a very non-scientific discipline, and I have heard of Schrodinger's cat. So it is wild.
Yeah.
And then, this was back before it was like a joke on television shows,
Yeah.
Bones made a joke about Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
It was a very funny joke.
Yeah. It's everywhere.
So then we get another scene of Catherine with Brian, and Brian's making these weird jokes about being a confirmed sexist. I'm like, okay, I guess in 1987 that got you laid. Nowadays it would be like, oh, okay, okay.
Like, and you want a cookie?
And then he's like, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, man. Cat's out of the bag. Schrodinger's cat is out of the box. We're not doing this anymore. So we're getting the team together. We're seeing everybody interact. They arrive at St. Goddard's. And this is where we start noticing the weird homeless people.
Yeah.
Right. They're just kind of appearing just in the distance, watching.
In groups.
They feel very much like Michael Myers watching from behind the hedge.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, this is where we got, what was her name? Is it, I can never keep their names straight because a lot of the actresses' names overlaps. Like one actress plays a character and then another actress with the same name as the character from the other actress plays a character who has the same name as the other actress. Like we have, so Lisa Blount plays Catherine, and then Ann Yen plays Lisa, and then Ann Howard plays Susan, and then Susan Blanchard plays Kelly. So it's like all these names. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm always like, wait, stop. Who? And there was actually an ongoing joke about Susan, who is the radiologist. And every time somebody's like, where's Susan? And they're like, who? A radiologist with the glasses. I felt like that the whole time.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Which one is who? But I think it's not Lisa. It's not Anya. I think it's Kelly, whose husband used to come here.
Okay.
He used to attend as a child. His family attended St. Goddard's, and then it shut down. And I'm like, because they had a Satan in the basement. That's why it shut down. They're like, yeah, kids will wander off during Mass, and there's too many of them. Got their prints all over the Satan tomb. Sponges. Who's going to clean that? So we meet a few people here. We meet Paul Leahy. We meet who is played by Peter Jason, and he feels like a cop. He feels like it feels like he meant to go onto the set of a cop movie.
Yeah, like he missed Miami Vice somewhere.
Not even Miami Vice. He feels like he's from like Starsky and Hutch or something. He walks in. He walks there. Ships, maybe. He's like walking in there like smoking. Hey, what's going on?
What we doing?
Oh, man. And one of the other scientists there is supposedly his kid. It's very weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of people. I feel like almost
so many.
There's too many people. I love this movie. They really didn't waste any movement in this movie. Carpenter very rarely wastes movement. But I just felt like I just got exhausted keeping track of all these people.
Yeah, because, not only do we have all these theoretical physicists in there, but we have a bunch of mathematicians in there.
You have a different, And the problem is there's a few people you meet Brian and Catherine, but most of these people just show up when they're coming into the church. So you don't know them. You just hear them, people calling them names, like saying, hey, Calder, hey, Fink, or whatever. You're like, who? Wait, stop. Who's who?
Yeah, and I mean, they're all dealing with like the computers and stuff.
The Calder is great. I will talk about Calder. But yeah, but I always like Paul Leahy. I mean, this guy just comes in just smoking and just bossing people around him. So then Donald Pleasance rolls up in a limo. Wait, what's going on?
I know. How'd this priest get a limo?
How is he in a limo?
Like,
Is your cab?
Is your little coven or whatever bringing you like driving you around the limo?
Okay, coven.
I didn't mean coven. I meant
His order, maybe.
Okay, we'll go with his order.
Okay.
I was looking for a different word though.
His diocese.
Convent or
That's nuns. Maybe his diocese.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go with that too.
Okay. All right. This is where he goes in, and there's this homeless woman there. We see her a few times, and she's standing there, and she touches him, and he looks down, and she's got her little collection cup that she uses to get change, but it's filled with worms, and he's like, and when he goes into the church, he's looking at his hand like, oh,
He touched me.
okay. The idea here is that this green thing, this green stuff in this tube, they tell everybody what's going on, but everybody's like, you sound crazy.
Yeah.
So we always kind of know what's going on, but as they start discovering more things, like each person in their discipline starts finding different things, it all starts to kind of make more sense. So the idea was that this thing in this tube, this green tube, is Satan, right? It's weird because, I mean, they're kind of using ideas from Christianity kind of interchangeably, like when they're talking about like the Antichrist and Satan and anti-God. I'm like, Satan isn't the Antichrist.
Yeah. And
then they talk about the anti-God. I'm like, Satan isn't the anti-God either.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. But the idea is that this thing in the tube is the Antichrist, right? And its father put it in there. Its father, which is the anti-God, is been banished out of our reality, right? And the Antichrist, its son, is the only entity that can bring it back over.
Yes.
And so that's why they're being keep in the cylinder. And this order sleep, Brotherhood of Sleep, it's been their job to guard the cylinder for these thousands of years.
Yes.
And now it seems like maybe is the cylinder going to leak? Is Antichrist going to get out? Because clearly things are falling apart, the moon and the sun and the ants, and everybody's like, okay, when they break this down for everybody at a later point, everybody's like, this is insane.
Yes. It is insane.
And it's kind of insane. But things start happening that starts backing it up. For example, Lisa is a theology student. She specializes in ancient texts. And so she is interpreting or deciphering this book that they found. And they're also getting all this data in. And it's Catherine who realizes that a bunch of this stuff is differential equations.
Yes.
And everybody's like, that can't be differential equations. This book is 2,000 years old. We didn't have differential equations back then. And she's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't do the carbon dating and stuff, but I'm telling you, these are differential equations.
Yes.
Night is starting to fall. These homeless people are being weird. They're kind of circling around. They're getting closer and closer to the building, but nobody's paying them too much attention.
Yeah.
And so one of the guy that is supposedly Paul Leahy's son, I guess. He calls him Dad at one point. Oh, it's very strange. He said he's done his part, which is setting up all the computer stuff and getting the programs running. So he's like, well, I'm going home.
Yeah, he's got to go to work or something.
Yeah. So he leaves out of there and he goes down this alley behind the church and there's this fucking pigeon on a crucifix. It's wild.
Yeah.
They crucified a pigeon.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck? I can't tell. It's driving me crazy. I can't tell what he's listening to on his Walkman. It almost sounded like Metallica. Maybe it was. I don't know. But he's looking at this pigeon and he's like, okay, this is weird. And then he looks up and at the end of the alley, there's a bunch of homeless people. And he turns around and behind him, there's a bunch of homeless people. And Alice Cooper takes a bike without a front wheel and just runs it through them. And I'm like, what a way to go.
Yeah.
He just kind of falls onto.
Yeah, he's just kind of hanging on the bike now.
It's wild. In the meantime, inside the church, nobody knows all what's going on 5 feet outside their fucking door. They're continuing their analysis. They find out that the cylinder is 7 million years old. It can only be opened from the inside.
Yes.
Ryan starts talking about basically it's not following the laws of entropy. So this thing is, it's prebiotic, but it's not just going away. After 7 million years, it should just be nothing.
It should have dissolved.
Yeah, but it's not doing that. So if you look at the way the stuff is moving inside the tube, it's all like defying gravity. It's all going upwards.
Yes.
So that's also a problem. And everybody's kind of like looking at it like, what's wrong with this thing? All these smart people and everybody's thinking too slow. It's driving me nuts. I understand you're scientists and you want to like analyze, but can't you at some point just say, look, this is all fucked. We need to act a little more urgently here.
Yeah.
Like
we need to be way more careful than we're being.
Be way more careful. And I'm not sure that like translating this fucking book is really helping us. Maybe let's do something.
Especially when they get into the weirder stuff it's saying.
Well, at one point, somebody's like, can't we just pile some fucking concrete on it? I'm like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's like bury it in a hole. Concrete that shit in.
Launch it to the fucking sun. So, okay, they're going over these texts, and this is where they start getting into the stuff about, so the cylinder, Satan, they keep calling it Satan. It's driving me nuts because that's not what you're saying. You're taking names and things from Christian concepts and kind of retrofitting them, which is, I'm going to say, this is sloppy theology. Yeah, it is, but who cares? It's a fucking movie. So the idea being that Satan is in the tube, and we're talking about Satan's father has been banished to another reality. And Jesus, this is okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Jesus was actually an extraterrestrial. And he was this is not even like John Carpenter made this up. Jesus was an extraterrestrial, and his entire ministry, forget all the Beatitudes, to love your neighbor, all that stuff. That was all covered. His real mission was to be like, look, Satan is in this cylinder. And he's his father from the other side, and it's going to be bad. So, got to move on this. Okay, the powers that be said, the guy is crazy, and he's got too many people listening to him. We got to kill him. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is neat here, what they do when they're all kind of around this table while they're having this discussion. It's kind of weird because they're talking about Jesus being an alien and everything, but they kind of set it up. It almost looks like the way the shot is framed, like the Last Supper.
Yes.
At Birak, we're starting to get more of this kind of threading the idea of the physics into the idea of the religion. And Birak thinks possibly this thing, I was calling it the anti-God. This is where he first calls it the anti-God. There's matter, and then there's antimatter. So there's God and there's an anti-God. I'm like, this is kind of nonchalant with the concept of evil as just the flip side of good.
Yeah.
But okay, it works because, and you know why it works? Because we have a great atmosphere going here. And you're going to forgive a lot of nonsense, a lot of physics that doesn't make sense, and a lot of bad theology because we got creepy music and good visuals and Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper just made it better.
Look, this is what movie making is, because you'll always have a nerd like me that's going to pick apart something from every single movie. It doesn't matter. As much as I love a movie, I will always find something to pick on.
Every movie.
So you're never going to be impervious to stuff like that. The real art of movie making is making sure that, it doesn't even matter. I'm hiring people and spending millions of dollars to come in and have people recite for a grocery list or whatever, and you're still going to get involved in it because I've scored it well. And I have creepy lighting. And I'm saying things in Latin. You know what I mean? It's how you tell it. It's not the story, it's how you tell it. And if anybody can make anything seem creepy, it's fucking John Carpenter, man.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah. So, now, here we go, back to the thing being locked from the inside. I don't even know if it matters what side the thing was locked out of, because it finds a chink in the 7 million year old oxidization around its seal.
Well, I mean, you just said it.
Yes.
7 million years.
7 million years.
Like, there you go. It's breaking down.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is Susan, the radiologist, the one with the glasses. She's watching it, and this scene, it sprays this liquid right into her fucking throat.
Mm-hmm.
So she's writhing around on the floor. It's bad.
It's just bad.
It's bad.
We have no other words for this.
Like, she's gonna die. In the meantime, there's worms in all the windows, and I would be so much more upset if I'm in a building and all of a sudden, like, why are there just worms in all the windows?
Yeah.
Every time I look at the window, there's more worms.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that happening?
Where are the worms coming from?
Where are they coming from?
It takes worms a while to slither up, and they're in like the second floor.
Or in like the second or third.
And there's like no worms around when they started.
Right.
So yeah, where are the worms coming from?
Why are there? Yeah.
Why are they moving so fast?
I mean, the people are kind of looking at them, but not saying anything.
That's
like,
all they're
say
doing.
something.
They just look at them. Sure. Like, okay, Amityville Horror, man, the flies started. They're like, oh no, what's going on? These worms, and everybody's just like, oh, got some worms on the window. Go.
10 times more worms than was earlier. Interesting. Anyway.
What? Worms are a bad sign, obviously.
Worms are a bad sign. Okay. So we saw this happen to Susan. And in the meantime, Brian has on their readings upstairs. And I don't know why they spread everybody out so much.
Yeah. I mean, I would think computers all on one floor.
Yeah.
And you're reading what's coming up.
Yeah.
And then maybe the second floor is where y'all sleep and eat. And then the basement's a crazy place.
They got everybody spread out. The events of this movie were inevitable because they spread everybody out too much. Anyway, so Brian's readings are like, oh, there's a spike of energy from the tube, but it's very localized. I'm like, yeah, it just went in her fucking throat. Go down there and see what's going on. Go figure it out. Okay, she's kind of trolling around. Everybody ends up getting some of this.
They're all trolling at some point.
Calder. Wow. Okay, let's get into Calder later because I really like Calder.
Really?
Well, I like the performance. It seemed very random at first.
Mm-hmm.
All these people kind of seemed random, and I think in a way I felt they all kind of felt interchangeable almost.
Okay.
But I just there's something about the performance for Calder that was like,
Really?
yeah. But they go out to the parking lot. It's this Frank guy, and Lomax. Okay, Lomax didn't really do much.
No.
And Calder. Frank is like, look, this is silly. Did you hear what they're talking about in there? They're talking about the Antichrist or Satan being in a tube.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I feel like he could have left here if he had just moved more decisively.
Yeah.
Because he stays out in the parking lot. Everybody else goes inside. But he decides to stay there. I'm like, you could have just made a decision and gone away then.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't.
You didn't.
You didn't. And so now the homeless people kind of encircle him. And they just kill the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like kill the shit out of him.
Yeah.
They're not even being like, I think he's dead now. They're like, just keep killing him. Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
No body parts to be left. No bones to scrape.
I mean,
no meat to eat. Yeah, keep going.
So here we get the first dream, which is Walter is having it. We have a few different people having a version of this dream.
Yes.
First it's Walter, and then I think Lisa after that, and then Barrick has it. It's in front of the church, and it's like this weird light coming from inside the church, and this dark figure appears. And you hear a voice saying, "This is not a dream."
This is being broadcast to you.
From the year, and like every time somebody has a dream, you get one more piece of the year. The first time it's like being broadcast the year from the year 19, and then the next time it's from 199, and by the end you hear 1999. So it's 1999. But you had 12 years from the time this movie came out till whatever was supposed to happen.
Oh yeah, they're in party like it's 1999.
Yep. They sure are.
Sorry, there's been a lot of Prince this week.
Yeah. We get more about. Okay, so we had already learned about the Brotherhood of Sleep, but the priest is there when Barrick is having the dream and he wakes up suddenly.
Yes.
And the priest's like, well, what were you dreaming about? And Barrick's like, that is none of your business, sir. He says it in a very nice way.
Yeah, but that's when the priest is like, no, I need to know, because I guess this was in the other priest that died's notes about this dream.
And it's anytime somebody gets within the sphere of influence here, they start having this dream.
Okay.
Because it's not a dream. It's literally a broadcast, right? And so the priest describes to Birak his dream, and that's when he explains the whole Brotherhood of Sleep thing.
And it's very important that he knows every person who's had this dream.
Which, at this point, it's almost everybody.
Almost.
And so this fucking cracked me up, right? Lisa goes to lay down. Lisa has been translating her ass off all night. So she's laying down, and Susan comes in, the little radiologist with the glasses. Susan comes in, and she kind of like lays on top of Lisa. Or she kind of hovers over her, but very close. Like crawls onto the bed and just kind of hovers over her.
Yeah.
And Lisa opens her eyes, and if I opened my eyes and somebody was laying over me like that, they're getting pushed all the way the fuck off, and me, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who the fuck are you? What the fuck is happening? Yeah. And Lisa just looks at her, and they just look at each other for the longest moment. And Lisa's like, excuse me? I'm like,
what do you mean, excuse me?
Excuse me. But, so that's what she does. And then, of course, Susan spits all her Satan juice into Lisa's mouth.
Satan juice.
Satan, whatever it is. Whatever you want to call it. So, everybody's looking for Lisa. Everybody's walking around looking for Lisa because she's just kind of disappeared. Kelly, in the meantime, gets a bruise. She's had a bruise. Her arm has been bothering her. And then finally somebody, is it Mullins or is it Walter? Somebody notices her arm.
Yeah.
You're getting a bruise. She's like, no, it's just, I just hit it on something. I'm like, no, it's clearly a symbol.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
At first it was just a bruise.
It was just a bruise.
The symbol starts appearing more and more. Every time she rubs her arm, you can see more of the symbol coming on.
But by the time she's having this conversation, it's
clearly there.
Yeah. So then we have this conversation with Kelly and I think Mullins. I don't think it's Mullins. Now, Kelly decides she's going to go lay down, right? She's talking with Catherine. And she's like, I'm tired. Wake me up in 45 minutes or whatever, So she's going to go lay down. Lisa, in the meantime, she's back typing again, right? She's awake. Walter comes in, he sees her typing, and this kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
Because she's just typing. She's been steady typing like this the whole time. She typed really fast. She's kind of not looking, and she's just typing really fast. But then you see what she's typing. It says, you will not be saved by the Holy Ghost. You will not be saved by the god plutonium. And in fact, you will not be saved. And then the whole screen just explodes with I live. Yes. Like, oh my God. It's just that whole you will not be saved thing. It was so fucking creepy.
Yeah, it was a very good scene.
Yeah. So in the meantime, Kelly has gone to go lay down. Lisa and Susan are kind of trolling around. They're just like the Shining twins. They're just appearing in rooms and at the end of hallways, just staring. Come play with us. And they get Calder.
Yeah.
Calder is great. Now this is what we're going to talk about. So Calder gets got, right? But he starts doing this thing where you can't tell if he's laughing or crying. Everybody else kind of seems just like a zombie once they get infected with the Satan juice. They all kind of seem like zombies. He never does, though. It's almost like he gets taken over, but there's a part of him still there that understands what's happening but can't stop it.
Yes.
And so he's doing this laugh-cry thing, and it is so unsettling to me.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, so Calder's walking around laughing and crying and
everything in between.
Yes. And then everybody starts kind of comparing notes, and they all realize what the priest has already told Birak, which is they're all having this dream. They're all having the same dream of the outside of the church with the shadowy figure appearing. O'Brien's like, well, it's tachyons. There's a warning from the future using tachyons because somebody in the future figured out that if you beamed all this information using these tachyons, because anything that travels fast enough, faster than the speed of light, you can send it back into time by pointing it directly at exactly where the Earth would have been, on this date or whatever. It's the old joke about where you want the time travel. You ask the genie for time travel and you forget to specify coordinates because the Earth changes position slightly.
Yes.
So you end up just floating in space until the Earth comes and hits you again or whatever. It's an interesting idea. The premise is interesting, of a warning from the future being transmitted into people's heads via their dreams. And it all occurs around this one area because that's just the way those things would work. Like, you would have to be localized to make sure it gets to a certain group of people.
Yeah.
All the equipment shorts out, right? They're having trouble with all the equipment. Lisa and Susan, in the meantime, are snatching up the cylinder. They got plans for that cylinder.
Yeah.
They're getting the cylinder. But Frank is out in the parking lot. So they go outside. Catherine looks out the window because there's like this little kind of walkout.
Yeah.
Kind of goes out. She looks out the window, and Frank is out there. He's standing in the parking lot. He's not dead, quote unquote, dead anymore. He is so creepy looking.
Yeah.
Because he's got like his skin is all gone gray, and he's got the weird symbols on him. And he just looks at them, and they're like, "Is that Frank?" Like, yes, it is Frank.
What you doing, Frankie?
Frank?
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Pray for death," in his devil voice, and the bugs start coming out everywhere.
Yeah, it's like his arm just falls out of the sleeve, and it's just a bunch of bugs.
Oh, God.
And then the other arm does it, and then like his legs do it, and then his clothes just collapse, and he's gone.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's very creepy. See, I like it. I like the fact a lot of the stuff, it kind of, I think the first watch through kind of feels random, but then I think after you watch it subsequent times, you appreciate that, like, a big thing that a lot of movies will do. They'll say something works, like this creepy Frank thing, and then they just do it 100 times. It was like, okay, well, it was creepy the first time. Why'd you do it 5 more times? It's not creepy anymore.
Yeah.
But so this movie is like, okay, we have these creepy things, and they can all happen independently and be caused by the same thing. But this way, we don't have to keep redoing the same creepy thing. So it stays fresh and creepy, except for the dream, which just gets creepier every time they do it.
Yes.
Because they just give us like another half second every time, At this point, Calder clearly is definitely giving somebody who knows exactly what's happening and can't stop it, because he tries to kill himself.
Yes.
Well, he does kill himself. I mean, he's successful, kind of. And Father Donald gives him his last rites, and they're trying to get out. After this, everybody's like, "Okay, we gotta go." The doors are blocked. Like, the homeless people have piled a bunch of shit up around the doors.
Every single door.
Every single door. And meanwhile, Walter is looking around. He's looking around for everybody, and he comes upon Kelly's room. So Kelly has gone to lay down.
Yes.
And he's looking around, and he finds her in her room. That's where they have taken the cylinder. Susan and Lisa have taken the cylinder, and it's just spewing its stuff up onto the ceiling.
Onto the ceiling, straight up.
And then it's coming straight back down into
her mouth.
Kelly's mouth, yes. And Kelly is she's looking rough.
Yeah, and I mean,
she looks pregnant.
Yeah, it's so weird because you see all this green on the ceiling, but then you see this one like area where it's just dripping straight down into her mouth.
Yes.
It's like a really cool scene.
It's very cool. Yeah. It's very upsetting, but it's very cool. Yeah. And then he turns around, and okay, Lisa's there, and he's like, oh no. So he locks himself into a closet, and there had been some gay jokes earlier in the movie, and I feel like it was not important because they kept asking him where he was, which was weird because, like, you're literally in the next room. What do you mean, where are you? You know where he is. He's just, there's a wall between you. But they kept asking him that, and he kept doing everything but saying, I'm in the closet.
Yeah. I was like, just tell him you're right there. You're in the closet.
I think it was intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they had made a gay joke earlier, and he goes right to the closet, and he will not say he's in the closet.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe not, though. I don't know. But it just seems so funny to me because they had already done this joke.
Yeah.
Okay. Caldwell gets reanimated. I don't like, again, where is it? Are these people zombies, or are they just reanimated corpses? What are they? But Calder gets reanimated.
Amazing Grace becomes something totally different than what.
Well, he starts singing Amazing Grace. I mean, like, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He just can't. He can't get out of it. So the sun is coming up. They take note of the fact that the sun is coming up. I'm like, okay, are these vampires? They're clearly not.
Yeah.
This is not going to help you.
Nope. Sun ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah. It freezes Lisa and Susan. they kind of just stop moving.
Yeah.
But nobody else does. It's just those two.
Yeah, they just kind of stop and they're watching the door of the closet and watching what's going on in that room. They've just kind of frozen there.
Yeah. Walter's freaking out. He's like, and this is where we get this silly back and forth about, Walter, where are you? I'm like, I don't understand why I keep asking him that. He is right there. They're knocking down the wall. They're in this little kitchenette area, and they're knocking down the wall between them and Walter, and they're still asking him, where are you? I'm like, what do you mean? You're knocking down the wall. Why are you asking? Why is this happening? He's in the closet, okay? And okay, so Calder is still moving around. Susan and Lisa have frozen, but Calder is still moving around. And he goes into there's this little furnace room. And Father Donald goes in there. And he's hiding from Calder.
Yeah, he's hiding behind the furnace.
So they're going to stay in there for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to stay in there for the rest of the movie.
Yep.
Brian, in the meantime, tries to get out. This is funny because he jumps out of the window, jumps into the alley, and he looks up and there's Alice Cooper. I almost called him Alice in Chains. There's Alice Cooper. And then looks the other way and there's more of Alice Cooper. And he's like, oh boy. I'm like, you could get up that fence right there. Go, run. But he doesn't. He climbs back up.
And then into the window.
Yeah, he goes
into the wall.
No, it's Catherine's turn to have a dream.
Yes.
They
let her fall asleep.
They let her fall asleep. We get up to this is being transmitted from the year 199. And you're like on your edge of your seat, like, what? Wait a minute, 19 what? We got 10 possibilities. I noted here, and I thought it was interesting, that the priest, he's reading from his Bible and he's doing his prayers. Even after he has gone through all this stuff, he's read these journals, he's explained it to these people, he's explained it to the professor, he's explained it to the researchers, that like everything that the church had taught about God and the devil and Jesus and all, like it was all a front.
Yes.
To keep this other secret.
Yes.
And even with that knowledge, he is still reading from his Bible and he's still making his prayers.
Yeah, like, what's up with that?
He just has not reckoned with the enormity of what he's discovered, I think. I think he just really has not accepted it, you know?
I mean, probably not. But he's about to.
Somebody coming up to you and saying, like, gravity is not a thing. I mean, this is like his entire world. Yeah. And they've said, yep, it was all a lie.
Yeah. None of it's true.
Yep. I mean, at one point he even says, we were basically just like, what, I don't know if he says PR, but like basically that was the idea. Like, we just been a PR for just 2 years. Poor Walter in the meantime. So the sun starts going back down. And poor Walter's like, oh no.
It's happening again.
And he's trying to get out of this. So he's been in this closet all day for part of the last night. All day he's been in there, and they've been chipping away at the wall trying to get through. And the sun starts going down, and Lisa and Susan start moving again, and he's like, get me the fuck out of here. And we come to find out, just like 2 good swings in the right place, this whole wall comes down.
Yep.
And they get him out.
In the meantime,
Kelly's belly has been swelling.
Makes her look like she's laying there pregnant.
And he's been kind of reporting back to them what she looks like. And her belly's getting bigger. And her skin's kind of getting sores and stuff. Yeah. The way he's reporting back to it, I'm like, they're making a lot of stuff. But he's like, her bone structure has changed and all. I'm like, how
do you know that?
Okay, she's covered up with a blanket.
Yeah, how do you know her bone structure's changing, buddy?
It's weird. Yeah. Okay. We get a lot of people running around. Leahy has been taken over, and Brian uppercuts some man. I mean, I did not think Brian had it in him.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But they're outnumbered. The people that haven't been infested are now outnumbered. And Kelly makes her way to this room, this furnace room where Calder and the priest are. The priest is still hiding behind the fucking furnace.
Yes.
There's a big mirror. So what she did at first, she gets up after the sun goes down and everybody else goes chasing off Walter and whoever else is still not possessed. She finds this little compact, like a makeup compact. And she's looking at it and she puts her fingers in it. Just 2 fingers.
Yep.
And it kind of, they go through. So we get to see, there's the mirror, and then we get to see like the other side, the other alternate mirror reality,
Yes.
anti-universe or whatever it is. I thought it was interesting because I'm like, this is all cool. These effects are cool. Everything looks very cool. All this is happening, and you're going to tell me they can't figure out a way to squeeze down and fit through this mirror? All this. All this. But they don't. So she has to go find a bigger mirror, right? Because what she's going to try to do is get the anti-god back into our reality.
Yeah. Bring him on.
So she goes and she finds this furnace room. Oh, this is so creepy, though, because she does this thing when she sees the mirror. She registers that it's a mirror. And she does this, Father.
Yeah, that was so creepy.
It was so creepy.
I was like, oh, shut up.
She does it again when she gets to the furnace room and there's a big mirror there.
It's like, no.
It's funny because she goes right for the mirror and they try to chop her arm off, figuring, oh, she can't get through the mirror. And her arm, she just goes back and they cut her head off and she just picks it up and plops it right back on. This could have been, the thing is, like, I complain about some of these effects. Like I complained about the thing with Windows and Palmer in the thing a little bit. I was like, this is a moment where the effects could have gone really bad.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It actually worked. And then they turn right around and she puts her arm through that mirror and it looks great. It looks great. This whole mirror world thing, it looks amazing. And then we get this other hand reaching from the darkness that looks like a little cat paw or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It looked like a bigger version of like a cat paw.
Yes.
It was like, I was like, what is that?
What are we looking at?
Yeah.
And then, so she gets a hold of it and she starts pulling it through. And as it comes through to the other side into our reality, it looks like a devil claw.
Yeah.
Like it's a clear, big red devil claw, which was a choice. You know, I don't know how many other choices you really had here, but I don't know why you couldn't have shown us that on the other side of the mirror.
Yeah.
I don't know why we had a cat paw.
Yeah.
Maybe in the other universe, in the anti-universe,
He's kitty.
he's a kitty. He doesn't get big red devil man until he's over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, Brian's in the hog getting his ass kicked. Catherine sees what's going on. And look, she starts crying. I can't decide how I feel about what happens here because as she gets closer to the room, she kind of starts crying. Okay, well, I want to hear what your take on that was. How she starts getting visibly upset the closer she gets to that room where they're pulling the anti-god into our universe. What is your interpretation of her reaction there?
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I can't tell if she's upset about it or what. She has no visual, like, cues to tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I can't decide if she's just kind of, overwhelmed or if I think my first instinct, the first time I saw this, I think my first instinct was right, is that even though she couldn't see what was happening in the room, we know what was happening and she was getting closer to this thing. And we already know the way this thing exerts influence and it gets into people's minds and things like that. So, I mean, I felt like it was her, something deep inside of her sensing
That it was coming.
that something terrible was coming.
Yeah.
But so she gets in there and she goes and tackles Kelly, pushes Kelly into the mirror where she gets in there too. And, Donald Pleasance, he does what he's got to do, right? He throws the axe at the mirror breaks. But Catherine's still in there.
Yeah.
And they got no way to get her out now.
Yep.
I would have tried to glue the mirror back together, but,
Yeah. And she was trying to get out when the mirror
she was really close to getting out when the mirror broke.
Yeah.
And then I like this effect too. When that mirror broke and it was kind of like the sparks and just kind of like lights popping off.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of saw her fade into blackness.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's a great effect. So the anti-god has been defeated. Walter gets the fuck out. Like, he just walks away like, okay, hey, yeah, let's go. Later, Gator. The homeless people are like, party's over.
Yep.
Go back about our business. And look, they have this final scene. I said, it's one of my favorite final scenes ever, where Brian is having a bad dream. We get the dream that everybody was having while they were in the church, of the front of the church and the weirdly lit tunnel, and you could hear the transmission. We're transmitting. This is where we get we're transmitting from the year 1999, and instead of the big dark figure, we get Catherine's silhouette. And Harry gets up and he looks in the mirror. He starts reaching for the mirror,
and then it goes black.
So
you don't even know if he can get in.
It's a great ending.
Yeah,
it's a great ending. I think the idea of they're playing with so much religious stuff. They're talking about Jesus. In the end, what she do? She basically died to save everybody.
Yep.
Going to hell, literally. So if you're going to talk about biblical stuff where it's like, well, Jesus died and then he went to hell and he freed everybody from hell. Like, she kind of did that, So this was a great Carpenter movie. All of his trademarks are there. The music, the shots, the long shots of people just staring.
Yes.
They all do it. The homeless people do it. They have Frank in the parking lot doing it. They have Lisa and Susan doing it.
The father does it.
Yeah. Everybody does it. And it's so effective because it's everybody's reaction to it too.
Yeah.
Because you can tell people are unsettled about it when they see these people just staring.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to react to it, so they try to react like just, oh, hey, what are you doing? But you can tell they're
just not normal.
Right. And so I wanted to, they do a lot of explaining in this movie about what's going on. I normally don't like exposition, but they're doing it well because it has a context here of, the science going on and the uncovering these ancient texts and all this stuff. And we were talking about how these movies, how this trilogy fits into this bigger idea of cosmic horror, and how the first one takes it really literally, And I was reminded the way when they keep doing all this talking and they kind of start putting stuff together, especially when Donald Pleasance puts together that this has all been a lie, and when they start putting everything together and this differential equations that didn't existed, all this stuff. And I remember one of H.P. Lovecraft's most famous quotes from The Call of Cthulhu, where he says, the most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all of its contents.
Yeah.
I think that's why this movie works, is in The Mouth of Madness, we touch on this idea a little bit. We don't really get it in The Thing, though, because The Thing is such a literal movie.
Yeah.
But here we get it. The real horror is actually understanding what is happening.
Yes.
And I think it's so well thought out. He takes a lot of liberties with the theology. He takes a lot of liberties with the physics, obviously. But I'm not going to, if you can do it right, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
If everything else is working, I'm not going to worry about that. I do like the fact that this feels like, when I said, like, you can't really separate the idea of, like, H.P. Lovecraft, as problematic as he is, it's hard to separate him from cosmic horror. And I think it bothers me that so many people, when they say cosmic horror, they automatically throw Cthulhu in there, Mm-hmm. Like, this is a great example of cosmic horror that does not touch on Cthulhu at all.
Yeah.
And I think what else is interesting about this is that one of the things about cosmic horror is you have this idea of this big and different universe and these creatures in it that just, mankind does not matter at all in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
They very rarely, if ever, and certainly H.P. Lovecraft didn't do it, invoke any kind of Christian or even any kind of monotheistic religious imagery. They never bring it up.
Yeah.
It's a conception of the universe completely outside of traditional Western religion. And for John Carpenter to take that framework of this big, unknowable, and different universe and take also the idea of, like, this physics that most people don't really understand, and this idea of religion being a lie, and to kind of push it all together and see like, oh, we can actually make all three of these things come together and work to tell one story.
Yes.
You know, and it works. It
does work.
And I like that it does imply something that is almost inconceivable. Like it's almost something that you can't even get your mind around.
Yeah.
And to the extent that you can understand it, though, again, to the extent that we can understand what's going on, that's what makes it worse. And you see the effect of it with, I think, Calder. That's why I really liked the Calder performance.
Yeah.
Because it's all there. The understanding of what's happening to him personally, the understanding of what's happening larger.
Yeah.
And the inability to do anything about it, which is the absolute core of cosmic horror.
Yeah.
Is the total and complete helplessness.
Yeah.
In the face of full knowledge, you know?
Yes.
I think it's ridiculous when you have somebody like John Carpenter to talk about his best movies, because it could change. It changes every day. What kind of mood am I in? You know?
Yeah.
You know, what do I feel like watching today? You know, I said this last week. Plenty of people say it's Big Trouble in Little China, or you know, Escape from New York, or whatever. You know, I probably wouldn't say it was either one of those. I don't know if I would say it was this, but I can say from a cinematic standpoint, from a directorial standpoint, Jameson Parker is just weird in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the story overall, the movie overall, I like it a lot. I could watch this movie probably every week, and it'd be a while before I got sick of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I see something new every time.
Different every time.
When I say I like cosmic horror, I mean I like movies like this.
Yeah.
Fiction like this.
Yeah.
And they were, you know, again with the isolation. Even though they were in the middle of Los Angeles, they had become isolated in this building.
Yeah.
The isolation is so important.
Yes.
And nobody does isolation like Carpenter. I don't want to rank my movies, but it's certainly one of my trusty comfort movies. How about you?
I liked it. I've seen it twice now.
You got to see it, unlike me, you got to see it for the first time you saw it on the big screen, which I think is good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool on the big screen. I like it. I mean, I like the premise of it. It's not going to be my favorite Carpenter movie, but it's definitely up there, yeah. And you see something different scenes every time you watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I liked it. It was good.
I love it a lot. Love it. Okay, so that is it for Prince of Darkness. We are going to continue next week by talking about In the Mouth of Madness. The 90s were rough on Sam Neill. And then going into February, we're going to be doing some Valentine's specials. But all that is going to be up there on the website. So go on the website. We'll have the schedule up. I think we got the schedule now up till April. And you have our old episodes up there. You can follow us on socials, drop us an email, check out our other podcast, which is Deconstructing the Dark Passenger, which is a podcast about all things Dexter, and The Final Assessment, which is our podcast about the show Evil. And until next week, when we will be talking about In the Mouth of Madness, I don't have anything.
I don't either.
So we will see you then.
Later.
Later.